Hey everyone, this is Kathleen with Windy Chaos, and I'm coming at you today on New Year's Day to talk about digital planning, what it is, and why I think you should embrace it for 2026 if you are not a planner or not a digital planner. I just have some advice for you about what works for me and hopefully will help you in your journey to have a more organized life. So, digital planning is using a tablet and a stylus versus using a physical paper planner, which would, be sometimes a big planner with pens and markers and stamps and washi tape and stickers and all of that. You get to use all of those things in digital planning without having to store them all in your craft area or a big tote or whatever. You can just kind of digital plan whenever you've got a quiet moment with you and your tablet. Um, so, digital planning is basically a PDF that somebody has created that has a lot of little hyperlinks in it. So, you'll have like tabs along the top or the sides of the document that will let you jump from month to month, week to week, day to day, different sections of the planner. It's really, really great. And then you can also make it your own with changing up the ink colors, highlighters. There's lots of stickers, which are basically PNG files. So that's kind of how I got into it. I had a lot of PNG files already, so I started playing with those. And I had made I'd had a physical sticker shop with Etsy for planning stickers. So I kind of had this graphics design background, but I couldn't sell those graphics as my own because they were not my own. I was great at putting other people's stuff together into a sticker kit, but that was different when I was printing and cutting it. And so anyway, the digital planning, you kind of get all those goodies still. You just get them in a digital form. And so there's apps that help you to mark up a PDF, such as GoodNotes or Noteful or Zoom Notes or Penly or Zodo. And depending on whether you're using an Apple device or you're using an Android device, the apps can be different, but basically you're just looking for an annotation app. And my favorite is I use an iPad, I use an Apple Pencil, I use Zoom Notes, and I have purchased my planner through Planning to Prosper on Etsy. And they're really, really good. She also sells digital sticker kits and such, and she has some beautiful things, but so do many, many other shops. So, um, including my own, Windy Chaos. So here's why I think planning is so important, and this applies whether it's digital planning or it's paper planning. Planning reduces stress and increases clarity. Absolutely true. There's a great book by David Allen called Getting Things Done. He talks about having a trusted system. When you're trying to keep all the balls juggling in your head of don't forget this and I've got to do that and I need A, B, and C at the store, and you've got all of this going on in your head, it makes it really hard to think big picture. And when you have a trusted system where all those things are in that and you don't have to keep them alive in your head, then you have a little more capacity for problem solving and thinking of the bigger picture and thinking creatively. Um, and because you've got this trusted system that you're looking at on the regular basis, you are able to prioritize what's most important to do today. And just remember, if you don't know where you want to go, then any path will take you there. So, one of the great things about planning too is you can kind of have a little bit of analysis. I'm spending 80% of my time doing things that do not align with my goals. I need to switch that. I need it to be 80% of my time spent doing the most important things and 20% doing the least important things. There are things that we have to do that aren't super important, but they still have to get done. And so some of the benefits still are, this productivity and focus increases. That's true whether it's digital or paper. The time management improves, and that's true whether it's digital or paper. The ease in sharing and collaboration really gets boosted when you're talking about digital planning. Portability is definitely much easier with digital planning. I can screenshot my planner and send it to my husband. We can share tasks in different apps and such. And it's also a wonderful creative outlet. And that's true both in digital and in paper. But the digital part of creativity is that the plus there is that it's not a bunch of things that you have to store and find room for. Whereas I still have quite a lot of things, crafty things that I had from my paper planning days. So there are task management apps and there are calendar apps, and digital planning kind of helps to bridge the two together. I use Apple Reminders and Google Tasks quite a bit for my task management, and then on my calendar app, I use Google Calendar through Apple, and it's great. But the nice thing about Zoom Notes is I'm not rewriting those things. It's a wonderful integration. And there is some compatibility the same way with Noteful and GoodNotes. I'm just not as familiar with it. And I'm sure there are apps that do the same probably within the Android universe. I'm just not as familiar any longer with those. But sometimes repeatedly writing things down is great because it cements it in your head. Other times it can be one of those places where things fall between the cracks if you have to continually move things from one app into another. So definitely look for that to make sure that whatever you come up with for your trusted system, that there are little safeguards and fail safes to keep everything moving. So having a planning routine, and this applies for digital and physical planning, is really important. It will absolutely make the whole thing work for you, because a trusted system is a system that you will use no matter what it is, whether it's just a spiral notebook, a little field notes notebook, or just something on your phone. It's got to be something that you're going to use and refer to often. So, having the morning to look at your plans for the day, set your priorities, and set your focus, that's super important. At midday, you can kind of see how things are going. Maybe something came up that pushed everything back. It happens all the time, right? But it's a time when you can kind of reassess, get back on track. And sometimes you have to reassess what is the priority. Okay, I can't get these 3 things done, but I can get this one thing done. What's the most important thing now to get done? And then the evening is when I actually do most of my planning for the next day. It's also a time when I journal. I don't do a really big fancy journal, but I do kind of put down what happened for that day, and maybe it looks completely different than what I planned, but it's a nice little record. And now I'm setting my priorities for the next day. I'm looking and time blocking and figuring out what's going to work for the next day or maybe next couple of days. And it's also kind of my creative time. I've got the planning part done, and now I'm just making it look nice. And so um, it's such a relaxing thing to do at the end of the day while watching television. It just really, and it takes all the stuff out of my head so that when I do go to lay down, I'm not just thinking of, oh, what am I forgetting? I know there's something big on my calendar tomorrow, but I just can't remember what it is. And you can't fall asleep because you can't remember. So it just kind of takes all that stress part away. So here are some of the obstacles that can keep us from doing this well, especially making a change over from a paper planner into a digital planner. Procrastination can be, well, this is true across any type of planning. Procrastination is like my best friend. We know each other really well. I can definitely take anything and make it harder by procrastinating. So, definitely take big tasks and break them down into smaller tasks. And sometimes the big task, I have like overblown it in my head that it's going to be so much harder. Sometimes it's about saying, I'll spend 1 hour doing this, and give yourself permission to walk away after that hour is done. Um, it can be kind of amazing just saying, my task today is to start this. I don't have to accomplish anything else other than I gave it a good start. Um, Eating the elephant one bite at a time, right? And that's what the overwhelm and the procrastination working together can really, they benefit from this mindset of I've got a whole elephant to eat, but I can only eat one bite at a time. So focus on one task and keep your clarity and direction going. And then set yourself up little rewards. It is so much more fun to celebrate the victories, even if they're small victories. Celebrate them. Give yourself a Hershey kiss. Whatever it is that you think is going to motivate you. Maybe it's that you gamify your tasks. Okay, this is a hard one. I'm going to give it 100 points. When I've collected so many points in my day, that I get to take a break, or I get to reward myself with whatever. So stay motivated. And I really do hope that you'll start your digital planning journey today. I hope that you'll find a community that you love. There are lots of some Facebook groups out there, and some that I'm part of that I really enjoy. Lots of very talented people willing to share their expertise. Set yourself a time budget and a financial budget, and then explore. Don't get caught up in, oh, I've got to make this perfect before if it doesn't work, then move on to the next thing. But there is a planner out there that's going to work for you, and there is an app that is going to work for you. I wouldn't say to run out and buy an iPad just to try digital planning, but chances are you may already have something in your home that will work for this, and you just haven't utilized it to its fullest capacity. So make sure to try something new, and then go on Etsy and just look for digital planners. You'll be amazed at what you find. Lots and lots of things. Some are pricey, some are not so pricey. Try going to the creator's website if they've got one. See if they might have a freebie download so you could try something. Sometimes just trying a month-long planner is better than jumping in for a whole year planner, or there might be a quarterly planner that makes more sense so that you can know if you like it before you fork out any big bucks. So anyhow, I hope you'll do it. I hope you'll make that change, because I think digital planning is the way to go. All the functionality without all the clutter. So have a great one. I hope 2026 turns into a wonderful blessing for you. And thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. And I hope to see you again soon.